Spare me 10 minutes and I will 3x your revenue. In this video, I'm gonna share with you all of the patterns that I noticed working with 7, 8, and 9-figure stores, the fil rouge that connects all of the 7-figure stores, and what makes the 9-figure stores stand out. Here's the thing. Most stores don't scale not because of ads. In fact, often they're doing everything the right way. I can name off the top of my mind a handful of 7-figure stores that are a great source of inspiration for bigger stores. And the reason why they're not able to scale is not because of the quality of their ads. It's not because of the quality of the content. It's not because they're not able to come up with new concepts. They're doing everything the right way. They're just not doing enough of it. And I've been asking these people what is the reason why they're not able to scale, and this is what they usually tell me. It's because they need to see an immediate return from their ads, meaning they want to be profitable on the first purchase. And this is something that I find very hard to do at a certain scale. It's possible, it's not impossible. I've seen insane numbers in certain ad accounts, but doing it in a sustainable way over a long period of time is very complicated. And in order to explain why this happens and the first difference between 7-figure stores and high 8, 9-figure stores is addressing this dichotomy between volume and return. This is one of the first differences that I've noticed. The smaller stores don't want to compromise on return. So they want to scale, they can scale, but they don't want to scale unless they're able to achieve 3x ROAS, unless they can scale at 4x ROAS. Every single month, at the end of the month, they need to see this ROAS, otherwise they're not interested in scaling. On the other hand, bigger stores are interested in volume, in ad spend volume. So while these guys are thinking about ROAS, these other guys, the bigger guys, are thinking, how do I scale my ad spend? And that even when it comes to the wording, I noticed that the bigger stores are not thinking in terms of scaling their ad spend, but are thinking in terms of how can I invest more money in ads to grow my business. And this is quite interesting. Now, if you're watching this video, you're probably asking yourself, how do I scale? How can I scale if I'm not getting the money right away? And the answer comes down to understanding your backend. In many brands that scale to 7 figures a month in ad spend are very comfortable scaling at break even, are very comfortable scaling their ad spend, often lower than break even. So the question that I've been asking for the longest time, and the question that I can imagine you're asking yourself right now is, are they reckless? Are they stupid? Why are you even spending millions of dollars? You're just burning cash? And the answer is a different one. The answer is they understand their backend. So this is what I noticed. When it comes to ads, whether you are a small brand or a big brand, there's one metric you're interested in, and that metric is the cost per acquisition, is the CAC. Now, small brands, in my experience, are constantly looking for new ways to lower their CAC. So how can I make my cost per acquisition lower? How can I find a new concept, a new audience, a new angle to lower my cost per acquisition? And this is probably something that in my mind comes from financial education, but you cannot save your way to becoming a millionaire. At the same time, you cannot save your way in terms of CAC to become a 9-figure store. At some point, there's a threshold that you cannot out-save. You cannot save more than a certain amount, simply because when it comes to CAC, there are so many variables involved that are not just including your ads, but there's so much more going on. There's an entire platform, there's an entire environment of advertisers. There's a microeconomy situation that can completely change your results. So if you need to see a certain number on your CAC and that number is very low, it's gonna become very hard to sustain that same CAC on the long run. Here's the difference. The bigger stores add a twist to this metric. They're not interested in lowering their CAC, but they're interested in how can I spend more to acquire a customer? How can I afford a higher CAC and do that in a sustainable way? And this mindset shift is something that my consulting clients are absolutely loving, and I'm seeing insane results coming from here. Now, the question that you might be asking yourself is, how do I do this? How do I increase my CAC? How am I able to spend more to acquire one customer? Now, here's the thing. The first thing you should think about is your product. What are you selling? Is it a consumable product? Or is it a non-consumable product? This is a very big difference. Now, if it's a consumable product, then the name of the game is subscriptions. And we need to get as many people as possible in your subscription model. Now, what I see these bigger guys do is the following. They usually have two options. Option number one, option number two. Option number one gives you the product, and option number two gives you the product. However, option number one is a bit cheaper. Option number two is a bit more expensive. Option number one comes with a subscription. Option number two is a one-off. Now, on top of the product, option number one gives you bonus number one, bonus number two, bonus number three. And these are bonuses that you cannot buy in the store. The only way for you to get access to these bonuses is through a subscription. Option number two gives you the product, is more expensive, is a one-off, but it doesn't give you any of the bonuses. And here's the crazy thing. Let's say you're selling an $80 product. Let's say you're spending $100 to get this $80 customer. Now, if the product is good, and if you have your metrics clear in your mind, you know that within 30 days, you're gonna get $80 more. Within 60 days, these $160 are gonna become $240. Let's do this, maybe it's easier. So you paid $80 to earn 100, and here it was 0.8 return. But if you consider this $80 in 3 months, this is gonna be 240. So the return is already higher. And this is the way they think about it. They're very comfortable scaling at a break-even or even lower because they know that in the long run, that break-even purchase is gonna become profitable. So the consumable products focus on LTV. They prioritize their lifetime value. Now, if you're selling a non-consumable product, lifetime value is still great, and it's still probably the main metric when it comes to growing your store and building enterprise value. However, if you're selling a non-consumable product, the main goal to be able to afford a higher CAC is increasing your AOV. AOV has to go up. Now, how do we increase the AOV? Look, there are many ways that I can recommend, and it really depends on the product you're selling. I've seen the best exponential returns and the biggest inflection point for some stores when they introduce for the first time bundles to their offering. Let's say you are selling shirts. One shirt costs $100. 3 shirts now cost $220. So the customer is eager to buy more products. They're going to get the better price, but at the same time, you can afford a much higher CAC because your average order value on their first purchase is now 220. Another option is working with upsells. You have one-time offers, you have order bumps. Two platforms that are great at this are Funnelish and Checkout Champ, which are platforms that I would recommend you check out. But overall, if you're in this position and you're selling a non-consumable product, I would highly recommend you ask GPT what it recommends you to increase your AOV. You can give it your store address, your store URL. It will check it out and it will give you some ideas. It sounds too simple, but it works, and it's very interesting the way AI thinks about AOV. Now, these are the main two differences that I notice when it comes to smaller stores and bigger stores. The bigger stores are focused on increasing their CAC and doing it in a profitable way in the long run. The smaller stores are thinking about lowering their CAC. And if you can understand this shift, if you can focus on this different metric, on this different goal when it comes to your store, then I can guarantee your revenue is going to go up. In fact, a stronger backend equals higher CAC tolerance. And I truly believe I spent a lot of time in the e-com world, and I run 99 ads. We create winning ads every single week on autopilot for 7, 8, and 9-figure stores. And the more I talk to people, the more I realize that people spend way too much time on ads and way too little time on their backend. And great ads won't save you from a weak backend. And it sounds crazy that I'm saying this since I run 99 ads and everything we sell is ads, but this is a great perspective that I truly believe can help you 3x your revenue. In fact, I want you to move your focus from ROAS on first purchase to profit across the customer journey. And that's where real businesses are built. If you enjoyed this video, please do subscribe, like the video, let me know in the comment section what you think about this entire process, and have you ever thought about increasing your CAC rather than lowering your CAC? And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.